If you had an N64 back in the day, chances are you were in one of two camps. You were either in the Mario 64 camp or the Banjo-Kazooie camp. And while out of those two, I definitely have to side with the bear and bird, I was actually in a third camp populated pretty much by myself. I was in the camp of Rocket, Robot on Wheels. Rocket is the story of Rocket, obviously. Rocket is an intergalactic helper/janitor robot who works with Dr. Gavin, a man who designed Whoopee World, this futuristic space carnival amusement park land all themed around a walrus and his sidekick Jojo the raccoon. Upon completion of this space wonderland, however, Gavin decides to go out and celebrate, and leave Rocket in charge of watching over both the walrus and raccoon. Now the raccoon isn't exactly happy playing second banana to a stupid walrus, so he decides to take over, and it's up to Rocket to restore order and collect all of the things, and there are a lot of things. Now the first thing you should notice about Rocket is he doesn't have arms, and you know what? He doesn't need them. He's got a tractor beam, and it's used to pick up and throw objects all over the place. And that's kind of a big deal in this game. It sported a, at the time, very advanced physics engine. But that's not all Rocket has to help him. He gains a grapple beam, jet boosters, all sorts of crazy vehicles. He has tons of different resources at his disposal to explore this crazy amusement park. One of the best things about Rocket were the level designs. I mean, going back to the competition really quick here. The level design in Mario 64 was based around very simple concepts. You've got your desert world, water world, lava world, 7 different ice worlds, and then that really unfinished test area, and it always bothered me. But simple level concepts all the same. Now if you go to Banjo-Kazooie, they take more of a complex concept for their levels. A shaman village, treasure island, a level based around all of the seasons. But Rocket does something completely different. Instead of taking a single basic idea, or a single complex idea, the levels in Rocket are usually based on 2 or 3 somewhat complex ideas, and just try and mishmash them together. Like the first level. At first glance it looks like a basic carnival. But it's a carnival, it's an island, it's a giant bee-themed funhouse. It's a midway. It even incorporates bits of Roller Coaster Tycoon. There's levels that are based on Arabian Nights but take place over 1,000 feet in the air. A jungle that in the daytime is just lush and beautiful, but at night is a volcanic wasteland. There's a level that is literally an all-you-can-eat buffet mixed with a haunted house. And probably my favorite, the second level? Well, let's just leave it at this. Ancient Rome meets paintball. Come on. It's awesome. Now, it wouldn't be an N64 3D platformer if there weren't things to collect in levels. And Rocket has plenty. Now you have this game's equivalent to Super Mario Stars, which are carnival tickets. Getting more will open up future areas. And it seems to take cues from both Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64. Like Mario 64, each one has a hint associated with the individual tickets, although they are usually formed in a riddle of some sort, and some of them are pretty tricky to figure out. But like Banjo-Kazooie, once you get your major collectible for the level, you can continue playing to collect more. You're not automatically warped out, you leave when you want to. Beyond that, you have the Tinker tokens. These are kind of like the equivalent to coins or notes. The more you collect, the more you can get upgrades to get your grappling hook and super jump. After that, you have several smaller collectibles within each level. These are machine parts. There are 7 machine parts hidden in all of the various corners of each level, and once you collect all 7, you create the machine. You're not done there though. You have to figure out where the machine goes. It's usually fairly obvious. Once you finish the machine and put it back to where it belongs, you activate it, which usually changes something fundamental about the level. Such as the first level, it will activate the big dinosaur statue, which unlocks a few different tickets for you. Or the second level, which opens up the aqueducts. It's fairly cool, and it does change each level a little bit, giving you a somewhat different experience after you complete it, as well as opening up a different path for you. I should also mention the vehicles. Each level has at least one unique vehicle in it. It usually has to do with one particular challenge or another, and has to deal with the theme of each level. The first one is sort of a carnival island, so you've got a dune buggy that's a hot dog, and you've got a roller coaster that you can design. It's all very cool, but probably my favorite is level 2's, which is an ancient Roman chariot that both hovers and fires paintballs. And you need this for several different puzzles. And the levels were designed with these machines. You usually can't complete them without finding them and unlocking them. Every level is huge, bright, and colorful, and all the characters and enemies are as well. And if they appear in more than one level, they usually change appearance, like they're usually wearing a different costume that fits with the theme of each level. I'll try to tie it all together. It's a really nice touch. The soundtrack is fairly catchy, all sort of having a sort of jazz theme about it. And I think the sound effects were fairly well done. They're not very special, but they do what they need to make it work. Including making those stupid clowns and screws very annoying. Rocket controls very smoothly. He's not terribly slidey or anything. And most importantly, especially for early 3D platformers around this time, the camera is very nice. Using the C buttons, you can modify the angle at fixed increments around the character, and it even has a first-person mode to get you a better view around certain set pieces. So unlike many other 3D platformers, the camera will not be your biggest enemy, and that's saying something, especially considering when this came out. Rocket is filled absolutely to the brim with all sorts of collectibles, mini-games, and just challenges. And if that weren't enough, there's a ton of crazy cheats you can put in to give it a different spin next time you play. Stuff like having a longer grappling hook, zero gravity, higher jumps, all sorts of craziness that is just fun for a wacky, fun-filled time. Honestly, I don't know too many people who have ever played Rocket, and whenever I hear it even alluded to, it sounds like the people who were talking about it just read the developer's Wikipedia page, saw the title, and thought it was a racing game. No, it's a 3D platformer, and a damn good one. Unfortunately, we never got a sequel to Rocket. Sucker Punch did, however, utilize a few of the systems in their later series, Sly Cooper, but they never went back to poor old Rocket. And now they're making Infamous, which I care for even less than I care for Sly Cooper. But perhaps I'm just bitter that they never went back to my favorite 3D platformer on the N64. If you like 3D platformers, especially from this time, stuff like Banjo-Kazooie or Mario 64, maybe even Gex? Maybe? You have absolutely got to try Rocket Robot on Wheels.